Hey guys, it's Colby here with Counterpoint MTG, and I'm doing a deck check on Sharuum. Now, if you see my other upload, you really don't have to watch this, but I wasn't happy with it. I forgot a few cards in the deck that I didn't actually have in there, and I was stumbling over myself. I was tired. So, now I'm just gonna try to rock it like a solid video. So, I have some good light now, and we can talk about the deck. Alright, so we have Sharuum the Hedgemon. Told you about her. She's a 6-mana 5/5. When she enters the battlefield, I can return artifact from my graveyard to the battlefield. This works in a combo with Disciple of the Vault and Sculpting Steel and/or Phyrexian Metamorph to infinitely deal damage to the opponent. I also have a combo in the deck that uses Academy Ruins and Mindslaver to infinitely lock out each target player from the game or your only opponent in the game. So I basically play with 3 people. My meta is a Maela and a Animar. So this deck is the only deck that doesn't try to get stupid green creatures out. It's more of a stupid colorless creatures deck. So keep that in mind when you wonder about my card choices. So here's Sharuum the Hedgemon. Alright, so we got our standard command tower. And then we have our Arcane Sanctum, which is like a command tower, but it comes in tapped. Reflecting Pool. Basically what Reflecting Pool is it taps for any color that you can produce. So if you have a command tower, it's like a second command tower, and it comes in untapped. We have a Glimmer Void. So what Glimmer Void does is it taps for any color as long as we control an artifact. If we don't, at the end step, we sacrifice it. But I usually have lots of artifacts in this deck. Alright, now onto the white-blue lands. So one note about the fetch lands here is I've decided to run only the fetch lands in my colors for flavor reasons. So for white-blue, I have Flood Strand, Hallowed Fountain, Glacial Fortress, Mystic Gate. Ooh, that's some serious glare here. Let me get in the way of that. And Skycloud Expanse. So that's the filter from Odyssey. We have for the blue-black, Polluted Delta, Watery Grave. We have a Drowned Catacombs. You can't really see the foiling in this light, but that's alright. Sunken Ruins and Darkwater Catacombs. And lastly, for the black-white, we have Marsh Flats, Godless Shrine. That's a nice, I like how that looks right now. Isolated Chapel, and Fayette Heath. Now, I have Evolving Wilds in here to fetch one of my 6 basics, so I just put it here to let you know they'll fetch any of these. So for blue lands, we have Sea of the Synod, Monomino. I have a legendary creature in here I like to untap. I'll tell you about that later. The cycle land for blue, I only want the blue one because that's one I need most, and I can cycle it better. And then 3 islands. Ooh, non-foil islands because you can't see the foiling. Alright, so here we have Vault of Whispers, Urborg, and 2 Swamps. And then Ancient Den and the Plains. Alright, so that's the lands. Woo, and now we have Reliquary Tower. These are our utility lands. So you have no maximum hand size, and so that's really relevant in this deck. And then I can tap for colorless, which is really all I need. Darksteel Citadel is a colorless land that's indestructible. It can be made into a 5/5. That's pretty good. And the artifact lands contribute to Metalwork, which is only relevant with 1 card, but whatever. Inkmoth Nexus, I can make it a 5/5, but it's probably going to come out for Bajuka Bog. Academy Ruins, the one I was talking about, put an artifact on top of my library for my graveyard. And Strip Mine. If anyone has the foil of this, I would like it because I can't find them in the stores. Alright, now on to the creatures. So this is the card I was talking about, Disciple of the Vault. Basically, when an artifact is put into a graveyard, I can have an opponent lose a life. So I can't kill planeswalkers with it, unfortunately. Theorem Sculpt is really awesome because I can just drop in. If I do that, you can see the vault. You can drop it in, and Soul Rings become free. So what you can do is play this, and then you can play Trinket Mage. Alright, so Mirror Retriever. So Mirror Retriever is basically an awesome Skull Clamp target. That's basically what it's in here for. So I Skull Clamp it, and then grab an artifact back. Copper Gnomes is really awesome because it actually leads to turn 2 Blight Steals quite a bit if I get a Soul Ring and a Blight Steal in my opening hand. I know it's slim, but that can happen. And it's still a good 2-drop. And it can be skull clamped. Baleful Strix is an amazing 2-drop. Flying, Death Touch, and it cycles. So, trying to find my combos and stuff like that. Alright, Shimmer Mirror. I actually underestimated this card when I was looking into it. And I played for a little bit in my old list. And then I thought I'd try it again. And I liked it so much I had to get into foil because it's an amazing card. This is the legendary I like to untap with Monomino. So we pay 4, we look at the top X cards of our library, where X is the highest mana cost of an artifact we control. And yeah, and then we just get it for free on the battlefield, if there's one in those. Trinket Mage here. Trinket Mage is awesome. We can go find any 1-drop or 0-drop, and that's really good because I have a whole package I'll tell you about later. Grand Architect, this is a replacement for... what the hell's that card's name? Metalworker, because my play group won't let me play it. So I'm trying to run Grand Architect, and hopefully one day they'll let me run it. But this is almost as good, except you need artifacts on the battlefield. Solemn Simulacrum's ramp and drawing a card. It goes in every EDH deck. 2/2. Amazing card. This is the other combo piece, so Phyrexian Metamorph. So this can copy anything on the battlefield, which is relevant, or it can win me the game, which is awesome. So, and it can only cost 3, so good drop. Master Transmuter is an awesome card. So we can return an artifact, including her, to our hand and put one on the battlefield, which is awesome because it actually helps protect Blightsteel from stealing and stuff like that. So it's kind of a dual-purpose card. Fairy Mechanist allows me to filter through the top 3 cards of my library to find an artifact, which is pretty awesome because it basically draws me a card. Kuldotha Forge Master. So this card's really awesome. I think it sees play on Legacy in Mud, but you can sacrifice... Oh, hi Max. We can sacrifice 3 artifacts, mostly including him and like Solemn and stuff to get benefit, and we can go search our library, mostly for Blightsteel, but sometimes it's Darksteel Forge or those kind of things. Here we have Aethersworn Adjudicator. This is the most utility-based creature. It doesn't really do anything dirty, but it mortifies things and then untaps, which is really awesome, because you can mortify, attack, or untap, block, or mortify, untap, mortify, or something like that. Sorry guys, my cat's trying to get up here. Alright, so Steel Hellkite. This one's awesome because it's a wrath spell in a creature that can pump and has flying. I think this is such an amazing card, and I don't know why I didn't have it in here before, but it's one of the bigger bombs in the deck. Wormcoil Engine. So, Wormcoil Engine is basically a staple in almost every EDH deck that needs big creatures. And it's awesome because when he dies, he puts out more artifacts. So, Metalcraft, that's what it's called. Shieldred. A lot of people question my decision to put this in the deck. First of all, she's my favorite creator. That automatically makes her be able to go in the deck. She works well with Urborg, with Swamp Walk, and at the beginning of our upkeep, we can get back to Disciple of the Vault if they kill her. Or I have to discard her, which is awesome. And it's removal, because that's a sacrifice of their upkeep. Awesome. Okay, Reaver Demon here. So, Reaver Demon is probably the best wrath spell in my deck. So, it destroys all non-artifact, non-black creatures. That's almost all my creatures are either black or artifacts. So, yeah. One of my favorite creatures in the deck. A bit hefty cost, both those filter lands, I can usually do it. Sphinx of the Steelwind is awesome. She's basically everything, and she just swings with swords, and it's basically, if I don't win with Blightsteel or combos, I'll win with Sphinx of the Steelwind. Filigree Angel is just to get me back in the game, because lots of times, Nate and Owen will just hate on me. Oh, sorry guys, refocus. And I'll have to do some crazy shenanigans, just play some affinity, get artifacts out, and just gain life. And also I can flicker it with that, girl. Inkwell Leviathan, awesome card. Trample, Shroud, and Island Walk. I always think it has flying. But it's a 7/11. I mostly use it for blocking, but it can swing in. For sure, if you put some swords. Or you can't put swords on it. That's one of the downsides of it. So, Darksteel Colossus is the second biggest bomb in the deck. This is the second one I tier for if I can't get big Blightsteel. So Blightsteel is the same as Darksteel except it has Infect, which is awesome. And it keeps on shuffling into our library, which is a bad thing if you're playing Reanimator and a good thing if you're not. Alright, so now we have our Trinket Mage package. So we have a Chrome Mox. I don't know what foil to get. Leave in the comments what foil I should get, the Grand Prix one or the pack foil. I'm kind of torn. I'm doing an order in a couple days and I really want to get a foil one of these, but I don't know what one to get. Skull Clamp. So this is the one I was talking about. It allows me to draw a lot of cards, and I put it on even bigger creatures to buff them, and if they decide to kill them, they have to allow me to draw 2 cards, so. Voltaic Key. So this allows me to untap my one artifact. Well, it allows me to untap all artifacts. But I like to untap Mana Vault with it because it's a 1-mana untap instead of 3, and then it will produce 5 if I want to on any given turn. Soul Ring. So everyone knows what this does. 1 for 2. Sorry about the heat, guys. It's cold out here in BC. But tap 2 mana. It's like basically a Mox on first turn. A colorless Mox. And Sensei's Dividing Top. Kitten, why do you want so much attention? Alright. And this is the mana ball I was talking about. So it's a 1 mana, tap for 3, but it doesn't tap unless you pay 4. But for 1, we can untap it, which is awesome. Lightning Greaves, staple. My playgroup plays this for Swiftfoot Boots. I chose this just because I liked the 0 equip, and my 2-drop slot was pretty low, so yeah. But yeah, it gives it Shroud and Haste. Always relevant when you have Blightsteel Colossus. So Sculpting Steel, this is the one that copies any artifact on the battlefield. That Sharuum, and that's how I win. Sometimes. Most of the time. So Sword of War and Peace, this one is protection from red and white, and we get gain life for our hand size, and they lose life for theirs, which can punish some decks. Sword of Fire Ice, we get protection from red and blue, and +2/+2 for all these. And whenever a creature is dealt combat damage to a player, or whenever a creature deals combat damage with this attached, and it deals 2 damage to target creature or player, and I draw a card. Awesome. And Sword of Feast and Famine gets protection from green and black, and I untap my lands, and they draw a card. Now here's special hate for those stupid decks they play. So no more than 2 creatures can attack each combat. Attack me each combat, so they can't just pommel me down. I was going to put in the Snaring Bridge, but I thought that was just a little bit mean. Winding Clock untaps all my artifacts, so that also works well with Mana Vault. And the Mirror that flashes in, because you're basically playing one every turn. Threatened Animo, my favorite round spell and foil in the deck. You pay 4, and you get 3 mana out of it, which is awesome. So technically you're only paying 1 that turn if you're doing something. Whenever an opponent draws a card, I can pay 1 for Mind's Eye. It's awesome. I've drawn a lot of cards off this, and no one really deals with it, which is good for me and bad for them. Gilded Lotus, tap for 3 mana, basically a fixed Black Lotus, but unfortunately it sets you behind a turn when you play it. But you're so far ahead after, it doesn't really matter. Mindslaver, this is the one that I sacrificed to take your turn. Chrome's Memorial, creatures I control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from black and red. This is basically the first strike, flying, and trample is really what I like, but the protection's good. And Darksteel Forge, all my artifacts are indestructible. Awesome card. So our Planeswalkers, we got Tezzeret. Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas. Tezzeret, the Seeker, really good tutor. And Karn. I've never restarted the game with Karn, but I'm sure it's possible. Alright, Dispatch is awesome, because Metalwork, I can exile them. And I do run 3 1-drop exile spells for all those pesky opposing indestructible guys. So Dispatch, that's just an exile. Path to Exile, I can exile a creature, and then they get a land tapped. I can exile my own creature and get a land if I need. And Swords Plowshares, I exile a creature and its controller gains life. So this one I could do to myself even. I wouldn't want to, but I could. I don't use Destroy Artifacts in EDH, but I do use Exile. So we got some tutors here. Steel Shaper's Gift. We get to grab an artifact and put, or equipment and put it into our hand. We get a pay 2 life. This is instant speed, this one. And we can search for any card and put it on top of our library. But we have to reveal it. Pay 2 life instant. It's Imperial Steel, basically. Mystical Tutor is we search for a, what is it, instant sorcery and put it on top of our library. So this is for wraths and to get out of bad situations. And Demonic Tutor, we search for anything and put it in our hand and shuffle the library. So Cyclonic Rift. So this is basically it's 2 mana, but it's basically a 7 mana return all non-land permanents you don't control at instant speed. Alright, Thirst for Knowledge. So we draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards unless we discard an artifact, and that can work for us because we discard a big artifact when we animate with a Sharuum, or we discard our one of our guys. One of, like, the, what are they called? Phyrexian Metamorph and Sculpting Steel. Fabricate allows me to grab any artifact and put it into my hand, which is awesome. Unmake is an exile for 3 at instant, and just exiles them. Blue Sun's Zenith, I draw so many cards and it shuffles back. So good. I love this card, guys. Yeah, and then it shuffles back. It's awesome. So it's 3 blue, which is kind of hard, but whatever. Okay, I'm going to have a rant about this. This is my favorite card in EDH, not even kidding. So you pay 5 and you go search for a card, whatever, but you can pay 8 later game and go search for 2 cards. In EDH, you get 3 searches out of 1 card. That's amazing. Alright, Reoccurring Insight. So we draw cards equal to the number of cards in the target opponent's hand. Now this is awesome because EDH is kind of broken and people play broken things, so drawing that many cards is awesome, and we can rebound. So we exile it and then cast it again on our upkeep. Our next upkeep, rather. Phyrexian Rebirth, so we Wrath and we get X colorless horror tokens. X colorless horror token. That is the number of creatures destroyed this way. This one, each player sacrifices all color permanents he or she controls. So I use. Sorry guys, let that ring. But yeah, so I usually have non-color permanents, so it works and it gets around regeneration. And finally, Decree of Pain. Oh, and also, this one also you sacrifice permanents, which is really awesome. I don't know if I said that. And Decree of Pain is we destroy all creatures, and then we draw cards equal to all creatures destroyed this way. So that's really awesome. And we can cycle it and give -2/-2. So usually I end up drawing a lot of cards, and I've never cycled it before, to be completely honest. But yeah, that is Sharuum of the Hedgemon. This deck is, didn't pay this, but it's about, the whole deck's probably around $2,000 in cards. But if you want to build this deck just like me, non-foil, you could probably get around away with it for about probably 800, 900, 1,000. But I didn't pay that. I probably only paid like $400 for the whole thing. But I've buy listed and stuff. But yeah, that's Colby. Thanks for watching. We'll have Owen's deck up soon, which is made out of the anime. And have a nice day.